All right, so this is the setup or the explanation for worksheet 4.2 that you're going to be doing tomorrow at home. So I'm going to go to here and go to more. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to Google Docs and make a new document. Now, we're going to be talking about ordered and unordered lists, okay? If you are making a list at the grocery store, and I'll talk with my hands here. If you make a list at the grocery store, should it be an ordered list or an unordered list? So one vote for ordered. Order. And one vote for unordered. So 2 ordered. Now, those of you who said ordered list, why does it have to be in order? When I go to the grocery store, do I have to buy Pop-Tarts first and then get the milk? No, I can actually go get the milk first and then get the Pop-Tarts. So do you see why order is not important? So for a grocery store list, an unordered list would be the most appropriate thing. So if I go Pop-Tarts and milk, what else do you want to buy at the grocery store?
Bread.
What?
Bread.
Okay, that's a good enough list. Now I am going to select it all, Control A, and I'm going to make this Times New Roman. I'm going to make it 12 point, and then I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that we can see. And by the way, I did not change the spacing. I should, because with these worksheets, if you don't do that, they won't be in line. So be aware though that when I zoom in with Google Docs, I've noticed that weird things start happening. So my cursor starts looking like it's in the wrong spot. So be aware if I go to highlight something or I go to point, it might happen just now. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to choose a bulleted list and I'm going to just click and now I made it a bulleted list. Now there's a couple things that happen and I want you to pay attention to. First of all, notice that I just chose the default bullets. There's just the little dots, but there are other bullets here. So for instance, if I'm going to make a grocery store list, I might decide to use this one. And that's a kind of cool one because then notice you could like check them off when you're there. So that might actually come in handy. So just be aware there are other bullets and you can customize those a little bit. You can customize a lot in Microsoft Word and a little bit in Google Docs. Now, the other thing that happened is something that happened up in the ruler. What happened? Eddie? Yeah, exactly. Please pay attention. And now it's on video that you weren't paying attention to me. Okay? I'm going to ask you again. What happened up in the ruler? No. I'm going to undo this, and I want you to watch this time, okay? Do you see the ruler up here? Watch when I click and make it a bulleted list. Those things moved. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video just for a second. And I want you to get out your Unit 2 notes, and you drew a picture in Unit 2 notes, okay? I want you to look and figure out what those things are. So I'm unpausing. Don't you dare put those notebooks away. We're going to refer back to them. Doesn't mean to quit now that you got the answer. You're done for the day. Goodness sakes. Okay, so now that we got the answer, and Dominic figured it out, it is going to be that we move the indents, okay? So we have to figure out what these are. This is the right indent right up here, and see if you mouse over it, it tells you. This one right here is the left indent, and this one is the first line indent. All right, we had to pause there for a phone call. So now I have the left indent and I have the first, this is the left indent and this is the first line indent. The first line indent determines where the first line goes. The left indent is where all of the other lines go. And because we only have one line, you don't see a whole lot of difference right now. But when the first line indent is out and the left indent is in, that's called a It's called a hanging indent. Remember how the rest of the paragraph hangs on the first paragraph? Okay, so when we use a bulleted list or a numbered list, you create hanging indents. Okay, watch what happens. I have it all highlighted because the first step in changing your formatting is to highlight. And I'm going to highlight all this, and if I move the first line indent, You see how I can change this and just the bullets move? And if I choose the left indent, I can move this all over the place. Again, I can move the first line indent and have those bullets really far away. Whoops, I just moved the margin by mistake. I can put them closer together. Okay, so let's undo all of that and put it back to where it goes. Just be aware that the indents move. You need to make sure that they stay the same. Okay, the whole document, it stays the same. So that is an unordered list. We also have something called a ordered list. An ordered list is when order is important. So watch how I make this. I'm going to go 1, period, and watch what happens when I press space. Watch the ruler. And I type something, and when I go to the next line, you see how it will automatically number for me? Okay, so that's an ordered list. Use an ordered list when order is important. For instance, if I were going to give you directions on how to get to McDonald's from our school, you would say, turn left out of our school parking lot and then turn right onto Middle Ridge Road. If you did not do those in order, you would not end up at McDonald's, would you? Okay, so you have to have the order. Now, I just grabbed this and copied and pasted to make more of them. And notice that this, and I changed the font on them so that you can see when I move them what's going to look different. So when I highlight this, do you see how this list right here is actually numbering from the second part of this list? So we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but now it's going 8, 9, 10. Well, I don't want this to start. Hold still. Hold still. Set it down. Set it down. So I want it to start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So watch how I do this. What is it when I'm changing it? What's the word? What's that vocabulary word to change the way it looks? Format. So I'm going to go to the Format menu. I'm going to go to Format, Bullets and Numbering, and I'm going to go to List Options. And if I come right here, I can see Restart Numbering. And I can tell it to restart numbering at number 1, and I'll click OK. And you see now this list is also 1 through 7. And again, I would do the same thing for this one. Format, Bullets and Numbering, List Options, Restart the Numbering, and I can do that. Now, if I didn't want it to start at number 1, I can have it start at 15 instead or whatever, okay? It didn't matter. All right, so notice that this is not numbered. It is out to the side. If by chance you get a section that is indented too much or not lined up, you can always go like this and move them. You can also go here and just click until it lines up with the other ones, and you'll see you can line it and put it back, okay? So if by chance they're not lined up, that's a problem. You need to make sure you do it. The other thing is they're going to ask you to reorder some of these things, like move the entire section to another area. So if I take this and I highlight it, I'm not getting it all because I've got to highlight that empty line there. So I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to make sure that I get that blank line, which is a paragraph mark right there. Now I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it down and I'm going to put it right here because I want it to go after the second section. So I'm going to go here and you see how it moved, and it also moved that blank line. Okay? So watch, if I decide I want to move it back, I can click and put it back here, and I want it to start here. See how I shifted it back? And that's what you're going to be doing in Worksheet 4.2, which is going to be your homework. Okay?